everyone. Welcome to Corrales Kindergarten's open house. We're so excited to welcome you all virtually to our school. My name is Baca-Hochhausler, and I am the proud principal of Corrales Elementary. A little bit about me: I have two daughters, one of whom is a fourth grader here at Corrales. It's my fourth year as principal here at the best school in all of New Mexico. Corrales Elementary has actually been located here in Corrales, right on this site, for almost 100 years. We'll be celebrating our 100th birthday next school year when a lot of your kiddos enter kindergarten and first grade. We have a little over 300 kindergarten through fifth graders, and tonight I'm broadcasting from our school library. You can see all the books and the read sign behind me. Here in our library, our students have access to hundreds of trade books as well as several ebooks, and your kiddos will have a chance to visit our library at least once a week to check out books, and we're all very excited to have them. I'd like to introduce you to Miss Andrea Atkerson. Here she is right here. She's going to tell us a little bit about how to register your kiddo for kindergarten. Andrea, I'll pass it off to you.
All righty. So one thing to remember, if you get stuck, just call us. Brooke or I will walk you through the whole process on how to register your kiddos. So a little number to write down just in case that you need us is 505-792-7400. A couple things you will need to register your kiddo is a birth certificate, a shot record, and proof of residency here in Corrales, unless you filed for a transfer, and then that's all taken care of through that. We are going to try to do parent view, and hopefully everything goes good. But if you guys get stuck for any reason, you call, or you can email myself at andrea.atkerson@aps.edu, and I will help you out. Have a great night, guys. Liv, back to you.
Thanks, Ms. Andrea. I'm just adding your contact information to the screen right here. I'll leave it up for a little bit for anybody who might need to jot it down. Andrea is incredibly helpful, one of the best clerks in all of APS. She really takes the time. Yeah, of course. She takes the time to get to know all of our students and our families. One of the things we really emphasize here at Corrales Elementary is building relationships with our kids and with their whole families. We hope that once you start here in kindergarten, you stay with us well through fifth grade and you come back and visit all the time. It is really a great community school, and Andrea is one of the backbones of our community. I know both your kiddos went to school here, right?
They did. They went to Corrales, then to Taylor, and to Cibola.
Yep. And we're excited in a few short years to have Andrea's granddaughter here at our school as well.
Yeah.
Can't wait to have her. All right, so I'm going to show our phone number here at school, 792-7400. If you have any questions about registration, feel free to give Andrea a call at that number. And once again, here is her email address. All right, next, I would like to head over to kindergarten teacher Audra Tenorio.
Hi.
Audra.
Hi.
You have some stuff in store for us, so I'll go ahead and let you take it away.
Okay, well, I wanted to show you guys, we didn't really get to show all of our artwork that we have all in our kinder area. And I wanted to show where the main entrance of the school is. I know that you can see it through Corrales Road, but our main entrance is over here on Target, and the kinder area is right here. It's a little dark, but I think we can see. So the main entrance over there, and then whenever you do drop off your kinders, it'll be right through this lane here, and we'll walk right in through these doors, and they'll be right next to their classroom. Right here is our gated playground, so we don't lose any kiddos out here. And then pretty close to our classrooms. So I think you kind of got an idea of where we are.
Thank you so much for showing us how to get inside the building. We really appreciate it. So kindergartners will be able to enter if you just have one kindergartner coming to school and no other siblings. They'll be either able to come through right the way that Mrs. Tenorio showed you. We also have busing. A few of our kids walk to school, and if you have older siblings and you decide you'd like to drop them off in the main drop-off loop, you're welcome to do that as well, and we'll make sure your kindergartner gets safely to class. Thank you so much, Mrs. Tenorio. Next, I think that Miss Sarah Sandoval is waiting for all of us out on the playground.
Hi, everyone. I'm so glad everyone's here tonight. This is really a fun thing for us to do. So just like Mrs. Tenorio was saying, after you leave your classroom, we all three have back doors to our classrooms, which lead directly outside and onto our kindergarten playground. It's really nice to have our own playground with our own shade structure. I know the sun is setting, so it might be a little challenging to see, but it's great to have this play structure designated just for our kindergarten students. It gives everyone properly sized play equipment to start off with. It's a really great opportunity to get outside, run, play, get all that fresh air that they need, and build those friendships. Our coach, Coach Dolan, comes at the beginning of the year and talks about playground safety and how to correctly utilize all our awesome equipment. You can sort of see out in the distance back here, we have another small play structure as well that we utilize for our kindergarten classes. So it's really nice that we have our own space to enjoy outdoors, especially with the shade. In summertime, it makes it wonderful.
It is really nice to have this shade structure. I think that's really important to protect our kids from the beating sun here in New Mexico. Usually, our kindergartners are able to play with kiddos in other classes, which is a really wonderful thing because it helps them to grow their network of friends here at Corrales Elementary. For the time being, we are keeping our kindergarten classes separate. So Miss Sandoval's class plays with Miss Sandoval's class. Mrs. Tenorio's class plays with Mrs. Tenorio's class, and Ms. Mann's class plays with Mrs. Mann's class, and they all kind of rotate through all of the playgrounds. And I think that's important for the time being just for COVID safety, but we're hoping at some point that we might be able to allow all of our kindergarten students to play with each other out on the kindergarten playground.
Definitely. They're looking forward to that.
All right. Thank you so much, Mrs. Sandoval. We'll check back with you in a little bit. I think we have Mrs. Mann waiting for us in her classroom. Hi, Mrs.
Hello,
Mann.
everyone. It's good everyone's here. We're excited that you're thinking about coming to Corrales next year with your kindergartners. We're so excited. I first wanted to show you one of the classrooms here at Corrales because, don't tell anyone, but the kindergarten classrooms are the best here. So we really like those. So I'm sitting at my table, and this is our view. I'm going to move out of the way. And this is a view from the back of the classroom and out to the front door. So you can see we've got a big Promethean board, our tables here, and I'm going to walk you that way. Okay. All right. So in this classroom, we're Mrs. Mann's monsters. And so I'm going to show you these. Here's one of all of our spots on the floor where we sit for story time. And all of the classes are different. So this is what Mrs. Mann has because all of our Mrs. Mann's monsters are different colors. So we have those. And right across from here, we have, which I think is pretty cool because it's one of the only ones in the school, these classes. And we have our own bathroom. Do you see that? Here's our own bathroom and our own mirror. Hi. And our beautiful sink with our hand washing monsters there. We love that. Here's our beautiful front door where we have wonderful displays of kindergarten work that goes right out to our space out here, our kindergarten space that Ms. Tenorio was showing us. And we've got some really great things in here too. We've got a super fun sand table to play with. Everyone loves to do that. And here's our dramatic play with our kitchen. You see that? Super duper fun. We love to do that. All kid sized. And here's one of our favorite things is the blocks in there. So I hope you're getting excited to come and to see the kindergarten classrooms. They're super fun.
We do have some of the prettiest classrooms, I think, here at Corrales Elementary. They're a good size. Kiddos have access to, as Ms. Mann mentioned, the kitchen. So hopefully we get to do lots of cooking next year in kindergarten. All kindergartners will have their own bathroom that they can use throughout the day because we know that's a skill that some of our kindergartners are still working on. Mrs. Mann, I think we have a PowerPoint that you had wanted to share. Let me see if I can share that.
I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our math curriculum here at Corrales. So let's see. The math curriculum that we have is called the Rigo Stepping Stones. And on the top here, I have just a few things on the top part of our presentation that just shows the things that we work on for stepping stones. But there's one primary standard that I really wanted to talk to you about for kindergarten, and it is our counting standards. Now, our counting standards, kindergarten is the only time that counting standards are their own entity. So they're their own thing that we work really, really hard on. When the kids go from first all the way through, all those counting standards are sort of embedded in the rest of their math standards. But in kindergarten, they're their own thing, and we really take a lot of time to work on counting. So some of the things that we would like the kiddos to be able to do, and by the end of kindergarten, is to count from 1 to 100, forwards and backwards. And we work on that in classroom with choral counting. We also work on that in the classroom with counting collections. And let me just show you an example of counting collections. And this is something really fun that you could do at home, is to give your kindergartner just a bunch of things to count. Here are some examples that we have in the classroom. I have these, they sort of look like poker chips, but they've got animals on them. And I just found them, say at Goodwill, and I put them all in a bag. So I'll just give students some, and they get to count how many they are, and count in different ways and count many times. So I have those in different bags like this. These I found, these were in a game that my own kids at home had outgrown. They're little bunnies. See them. And I just stuck them all in a bag, and I put them out for kindergartners to count. One of the things that we really love to do. I also have a ton of buttons that I found all different places. Of course, I stole quite a few from my own mom, but here's just a bunch of buttons for them to count. They could count beans or small rocks at home, or pennies are really good things to count at home. And I know a lot of kiddos have Legos. Those are always a good thing to just take a handful of and put them down to count. You want to make sure that when you're counting, you're not giving them too many. You don't want them to have more than 100. But closer at the beginning of the school year, we have about 10 things to count. Sometimes I'll do 11 or 12. Sometimes I'll do 7 or 8, just so they feel really successful when they're counting those things. Let's see. Another thing that I really love them to do with counting is I want them to make sure that they can say the number when they count, and they're pointing right to it. So we just want a one-to-one correspondence. So we don't want them to count all over the place for things. We want them to count 1, 2, 3, and keep going so that they know they're getting bigger in their numbers. We also work a lot on as knowing that the last number that they say is how many they counted. So how many is that they have? We also like them, to answer that how many question, and that thinking about what number did you end with, that's your how many there, okay? We also work a lot on writing numbers and our number formation. And when we think about number formation, and we always talk to parents about, make sure they're forming their numbers from top to bottom. And so think about that they're writing from the top to the bottom of the page when they write their numbers or letters too, Okay, so a couple other things that we love in counting is we like for them to subitize. And when we talk about subitize, it means we want them to think about counting fast. And so we want their brain to be able to know what number it is before they even get to count it one by one. So something that I do for that is I show these number cards and dot cards. And so I'll say, how many? And then I'll flash it and put it down and see if they can figure out how many. And then they'll say how many there are, like that. Keep getting across. So these ones are 1 to 5, and we work on 1 to 5 quite a bit. Okay, so once they have these regular patterns, and you think about these patterns as being on a dice, so that these regular patterns, then we'll move to these unstructured patterns. So can they tell me how many without having to count one by one? So we look at these unstructured patterns like this as well. So those are some things that we really love to do in the classroom. And then I do have, let's see, another game that you can play. It's called Counters in a Cup. You just get a cup and some counters. We like to use this kind in our classroom. It has red and yellow, but you can use anything. Use pennies or beans or whatever you have at home. So think about starting with 5. And have your kindergartner turn around, and maybe you take a turn first before they do, but have your kindergartner turn around and put some of the counters in the cup and keep some of them on the table. And then they have to figure out by looking at the ones on the table, how many counters are in there. So if there's 3 on the table, how many counters were in the cup, so they can see that. And you can keep working on that, and you can increase those counting chips, maybe to 6 or 7, and then all the way to 10. And that's a good way for them to think about that they can use some strategies of count on. So if there are how many outside the cup, they don't have to count those. They can go, oh, there's 3, 4, 5. Oh, there's 2 in the cup. So think about that. So we really love those as well. So let's see. We work on these. These are our 10 frames here, our Rick and Rack. And you can make these at home. This is an example of one at home. We like to count these beads across. There's 5 red and 5 white. And then there's 5 red and 5 white. And so they can count. We talk about how many on the top, how many on the bottom. And this is what it looks like. It's just a pipe cleaner on a piece of cardboard with beads. This is a really fun one to do. Let's see. Gosh. These are really fun. You could find these dice at Target. These were in the dollar bin. These were good for subitizing, thinking about how to count fast with these. And there's just tons of games. Some other things that we like to play, board games or puzzles are wonderful to play with students in thinking about math. So those are just some things to get you started with math in kindergarten, which we love. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Mann, for sharing with us all about math. I think what's important for parents to remember, too, is that kids are usually very naturally mathematical. I think you'll often see your kids lining up their Matchbox cars or sorting their little Barbie dolls, or all of those good things that you'll watch your kids doing as they're entering pre-K and getting started in school. And that's math, right? That's early childhood developmentally appropriate math. And then, sometimes our own anxieties around, fractions and algebra and geometry get into their heads and they start getting worried about math too. But just remember, we're all naturally mathematicians. Kindergarten is such a great place to develop those skills and really lay the foundation to be successful in math all throughout. Mrs. Mann, I forgot to ask you, how long have you been at Corrales Elementary?
Let's see. I have been at Corrales for 10 years. I have been teaching for 20. I've taught K1 and 2. By far, kindergarten is my favorite, for sure. It's my favorite, but I have taught those. I'm just very blessed to be here. Both of my kiddos went through Corrales as well. This is my first year not having a child here at Corrales. Was a little bit sad this year for me. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Mann. I think we'll be back with you a little bit later, but now we're going to head back to Mrs. Tenorio's classroom.
Hi,
Hello there.
Hi. I love you guys coming back in. Over here.
Mrs. Tenorio is new to Corrales Elementary, but not completely new. Mrs. Tenorio, will you tell a little bit about how you came to us and to our school?
Yeah, so I have been teaching. This is my 8th year now. Same as Mrs. Mann with K1 and 2. I've taught kinder now, first and second. And, you know, I grew up here in Corrales. I did my student teaching here. And then I kind of went off and did my own thing. And now my husband and I are back living in Corrales. And I have a 5-year-old who is actually in Mrs. Mann's class. So it's kind of come full circle. And it's so great to be here. I'm right next door to him and such a wonderful place to be. It's something that I really have wanted. I also have a 2-year-old. So she'll be coming up pretty soon. Soon enough.
Soon enough. Corrales has a unique way of hooking people in and then retaining them for a long period of time. Just like Mrs. Tenorio, I also did my student teaching here at Corrales. I don't live anywhere near Corrales, but it's such a lovely school that it is definitely worth the 40-minute commute to and from every single day. I just love driving down Corrales Road and watching the seasons change and knowing that I'm going to end up here at Corrales Elementary with all of our amazing students. So I think that Mrs. Tenorio is going to talk to us a little bit about our English Language Arts program.
I am. You know, I wanted to show the classroom really quick.
Let me do that then. Here, I'll go back to.
Just so you guys can see too, the classrooms are all right next to each other. You kind of saw when I was walking down the hallway, but we're kind of positioned differently. So my back door is over here, and then I really enjoy all of our kids' artwork. They just did these self-portraits in art, and I had to put them up. They're so cute, and they're so representative of themselves and their personalities. It's been awesome. We do have an iPad area, so your little kindergartner will get their very own iPad, their headphones, they'll have a charger. I like to keep everything in these little bags so they don't get lost. I have some login stuff and information because they do go home with them. And we send them home on the weekends, long breaks, and sometimes just nightly, depending on what they need to finish or what they need to do. I love celebrating our birthdays, and we have those up there. See if you can see our little kitchen, full kitchen here. I am a coffee lover, so I have my coffee just in case. You never know. We do have the full fridge, which is really nice for snacks. Back over here is our restroom. And so every classroom has their restroom. Here's ours. And same thing. Let's see if you can see. Oh, there we go. Yeah, here we are. And then my entrance is actually right over here. And you can see Mrs. Mann's classroom right there. Hi, Mrs. Mann. At Word Wall, we start working with words and sight words pretty quickly here in kindergarten. We do a lot of big book reading and writing skills, thinking about how to self-regulate and go through checklists whenever you're writing, if you think you're done, what you should do. Our Promethean board here. So every classroom has their Promethean board. It comes with a Promethean board pen, so the kiddos can write on here. We can write. We like to do focus walls, so we know what we're focusing on. And you'll see my little Post-it notes here. We also label the classroom, so the kiddos will write down what they hear when they're thinking about a word. We have our schedule here. I like to have a schedule and go over it with the kiddos every day. All of our workbooks, our block area, our manipulatives so we can count, lots and lots of good counting. We have art supplies. And then, you know, we're trying and put everything for the kiddos in their own bin, but every now and then we do need to reach into our, get a little dry eraser. I do a lot of group work. So those are our groups here. We have little reading area. We also do a lot of silent reading, group reading, shared reading, partner reading, lots of reading. And here's our kitchen. And you can see that one got labeled too. So some of the labels fall off. And then we're back over here at my table. Yeah, we like a lot of hands-on stuff over here. Lots of hands-on, lots to do, keep us busy. So I'm going to go ahead and go over our ELA. That's our English Language Arts. We do use benchmark curriculum. And this is fairly new. I think we got this curriculum, this is what, the third year I think we have it now. So we got a good grasp on it. But a big thing for English Language Arts when we're talking about kindergarten is speaking and listening. So I know we kind of take that for granted, but a lot of kiddos come in and they don't know how to communicate their needs or their wants, especially with each other and peers. So we do a lot of practicing with that, a lot of sharing ideas in small groups. We do a lot of large group discussions. And one of my favorite things, especially in early childhood, is show and tell. We do show and tell every day. It comes with the duty of snack, which they also really love to do. For English Language Arts, we do a lot of listening comprehension. So think about when you're reading to your kiddos at home, really asking them, well, what do you think about this character? And understanding words like character. Some kiddos have no clue what was a character, and so that's another big thing is going into vocabulary with the kiddos. If your little one asks about, Mom, what did you just say? And explaining what does a marble mean? What does anything mean? For English Language Arts, we do a lot of comparing and contrasting. So literature pieces and then text features. So we do a lot with captions. We ask about what could be happening in a story, predictions, all that good stuff. And it's so funny because we think, oh, we're just reading to our kids and it's just a good thing to relax and do. But it's so good for them. It really is. We do a lot with learning how to read from left to right, understanding which way a book goes, how to turn pages. So when you are reading with your little ones at home, think about letting them turn the pages. Maybe they hold the book, reading and tracking the words that you're reading. So that way they know we go left from right and then we go top to bottom. So lots of good stuff that we do here and things that you can do over at home too. I love you. So I would like if you could just go to writing, Miss Liv, and I'll kind of swoop in there because they kind of go hand in hand. A lot of writing, like I said, we're working on ideas and brainstorming ideas, getting them out vocally, and then illustrating and writing ideas. Like I said, we're learning how to write left to right and then top to bottom. A lot of letter formation and number formation. Now, the hard part is, we think about all these things. Oh, they're going to learn this. They're going to know right away. But we forget about the little things like fine motor skills. If you have a pencil at home, I'm sure you do, I like these little pencil grips. So it helps the kiddos kind of pinch their pencil so they know the correct grip. It's really, really hard for them to get that stamina to hold it correctly. So a lot of these little pencil grips are really, really helpful. And to be honest, it's an ongoing thing. It's not like they just get this right away. They don't come into kindergarten and poof, they know how to hold a pencil. And so if you're like me and you're like, okay, you really got to hold this pencil right. I'm talking to my son and I'm like, oh man, I don't know. He's just not there. Thank you, Mrs. Mann, for being so patient with him. But it takes a while. It really does. And so be patient with your little one. Practice things like holding the pencil, holding a marker, and don't worry so much about can they write all of their letters. We would like them to write, maybe their name, but that will all come with practice, and we have to learn how to be a little patient. I'm speaking experience with my little one. It's so different whenever you have your own child versus the kids in the classroom. So if any of you guys are teachers out there, or if any of you work with kids and you're like, oh man, my kiddo is just totally different. That's just how it is, is what I've come to learn. The other thing is we work on writing skills. We first do those straight lines. So if you see your kiddo doing the straight lines and you're like, yeah, he's doing the straight lines, you might see him start doing the squiggly lines, and that's good too. And then eventually we start connecting them, to make the letters, to make different things. And so it's just a progression for writing. And we really work on that with the kiddos here. We really like to have, like I said, hands-on tactile things, because that's how they learn. And that's the writing portion, the good stuff. So if you guys do have questions too, please let me know. I can see little pop-ups here, but I don't see any questions or anything. But let us know. We are all very helpful. We all love to answer questions and to be part of the community, and know that, you're not just the only one out there. It's all together.
I think you made a lot of really great points about teaching writing and our focus on handwriting and fine motor skills. You can really see, I have taught K through 8th grade, and I know in 4th grade, we really spent a lot of time working on cursive to clean up some of the bad habits that were developed, over time with some of our kiddos. And handwriting is really important, and we'll notice kids struggle, especially when they have to loop around to make maybe like a letter A. It's that whole crossing the midline. So a lot of stuff you can do at home with your kiddo that isn't just writing all the time, can be, doing some midline crossing, right, with your arms, practicing that gross motor skill, because that will all help them form letter A and letter O and letter D, all those letters where you have to cross the midline. Yeah. I think I have Mrs. Sandoval back in her classroom, and she is ready to tell us a little bit about her room. And I just want to answer a couple questions before I add Miss Sandoval to the stream. First of all, I want to say hi to, of course, Olivia, and I know that McKenna and maybe Eden is out there too. So hi, McKenna and Eden. Mrs. Caraway, Dina, she had asked just now, are we going to get a supply list before the summer? Hopefully we'll have a supply list out to everybody at the beginning of May, so that way you'll be able to start gathering all of those important kindergarten supplies. I would say, generally speaking, good stuff to start getting your hands on if you see it are pencils, hand sanitizer, of course, we go through loads and loads of that, Kleenex boxes. I know we will always welcome Kleenex boxes, and soap into our classrooms. So probably we'll get a supply list out to our families in the springtime, March or May. All right, here is Mrs. Sandoval ready to tell us all about her classroom.
Hey guys, I feel like everyone else started with a little intro, so I'll do the same thing. This is my 8th year here at Corrales, I believe. I actually started off as a special ed EA, so I've done a lot of different jobs here at Corrales, and I love it here. My kids went to school here, and I spent a lot of time in the classroom and in the library. It was one of my favorite places to be, and finally I realized I wanted to be here. I wanted to actually be here and be a teacher and be a part of this. So I went back to school and got my teaching credentials. That was sort of my path here. I started out teaching special education, so I've taught kindergarten through 2nd grade, and then I've been a general education classroom teacher in 1st grade and now in kindergarten. So I'm really happy here in kindergarten. I really feel like I've found sort of my home. So hopefully your kiddos will feel that way too here in school. Okay, classroom tour. I feel like you guys have sort of seen it all, but I'm going to show you anyways. Let's see here. Okay, so here's like my back door where I went out to the playground. So we keep our cubbies, we have our backpacks, all that good stuff back there. Paige was showing her sensory table, so I could show mine right now. We have these funny little noodly things in there. The kids play spaghetti in here. They're really enjoying that. I try to change it out every couple months or every month if I can, just to keep it interesting and keep it fun. I have my classroom organized so that my tables are here on the tile, and we have our little kitchen area back here in this corner. Wash our hands and do all that good stuff over there. And then down here on the carpet, we have our spots. So we can sit on the carpet. We can listen to stories. We work on the calendar every day. We do lots of phonics lessons, which I'm going to talk about. We do have the Promethean board. Sorry, mine's not turned on. I didn't turn it on tonight, but it's nice to have that interactive component. I think especially with the phonics lessons, the kids really love coming up to the board and using the pen tool and getting to kind of lead the lessons and things. Audra pointed out standards. I like to talk a lot about our big goals in kindergarten so that the kids know like the path we're on, where we're going, where it's taking us, what our end goal is going to be. And then we talk about our weekly goals, which is how we're going to get there. So each week we're going to bite off a little chunk of something new to help us get to our big goals at the end of the year. And I think they really like knowing where we're going and feeling successful when we check something off. Let's see here. There's the front door and the hallway. More books. I love books. We've got a leveled library down here so that the kids can come and choose books for read to self. Lots of hands-on things. Playtime in the afternoon. The kids love that. Here's our math manipulatives. Lots of counting, little dinosaurs and things. Over here. Block area. Sorry, I'll come down here. We have lots and lots of blocks, lots and lots of trains. Kids all really love building the trains. This was our New Year's resolution board. They did a really good job thinking about goals they wanted to set for themselves for this year. Bathroom, just like the others. Here we go. And this is an interesting component to kindergarten as well, learning to take turns and use the bathroom. We, when we walk in, we flip this over so that it says stop, and then they can put their name up here so that they'll know, don't go in there, someone else is in there. And then when that person is done, they can take that down and they'll know that it's open again. So we do a lot of taking turns in kindergarten and building up that skill set. Okay, did I miss anything? Kitchen, little kitchen area down here. All good stuff. Okay, so while I have you guys here, I know Mrs. Mann talked a lot about math and Mrs. Tenorio talked a little bit about our ELA program. So I'm just gonna touch on phonics because it all kind of comes together, I feel like. So for kindergarten, our goal at the end of the day, before we move them on to first grade, we want everyone to know all the uppercase and the lowercase letters. And it seems like coming into kindergarten, kids might have some experience with the uppercase letters, but when we read, it's usually mostly lowercase letters. So that's where we start in kindergarten. And then we start working on sounds. And what's interesting is we can sort of separate the two. There's tons of stuff that you can do to listen to sounds without knowing any of the letter shapes. So that's kind of the first step, when you're at the grocery store and you see some broccoli, you could say, "What's that sound you hear at the beginning of broccoli?" And the kids can just kind of go, "It sounds like brrr." And you're like, "Yeah." So, and you can find simple words like cat, with that k sound, and you can just start listening to the sounds. They don't even have to know the letter shapes to start to hear those sounds. Just becoming aware of them and sort of making it fun and interesting. It doesn't always have to be about flashcards or drilling students or, writing the shapes of the letters. Sometimes we just play games. We listen for rhyming words. We make up rhyming words. We play games. A lot of the stuff we do in kindergarten is really fine-tuning that. We call it phonemic awareness, which is that awareness of the sounds. What order are they in? We can tap out words and go k, a, t, and then say, what was the first sound you heard? And the kids need to stop and think about it. We could think about, well, what was the last sound? It started with k, but it ended with t. So we can make like some motions and stuff to help us figure out where the sounds are. So it's definitely not all about phonics, about the shapes of the letters. That does come in kindergarten as well. So the program we use is called Foundations, and the kids are super familiar with these cards. And we do practice them a lot. We practice the letter names, we practice the keyword, and then the sound. And as time progresses, we start to phase out the picture, and we just start to look at the letter and the sound that it makes. But there's lots of fun ways to just think about letters and think about sounds. And we always talk about environmental print. Like, what are the things that you just see around, when you're driving? Does your kid notice the McDonald's sign? You can point out, well, that's the, what's that shape you see up there? What's the sound you hear from McDonald's? So you can just start to kind of work in a little bit of letter awareness and sound awareness as you go. As the year progresses in kindergarten, we want to work on tying the sound to the shape of the letter. So that's phonics, basically, is the shape of the letter and the sound that it makes to get tied together. And then we want to start being able to connect those, the sounds, to blend together to make the words. And it's basically, that's, the encoding is the decoding is how can we break apart the sounds and put them back together to make the word. And then we have the encoding, which is how can I write down the letter for the sound that I hear to write the words. So it all starts to come together. It's a slow process. It takes a lot of practice and a lot of patience and a lot of encouragement. We celebrate a lot in kindergarten. We celebrate our successes every day. We celebrate, when we made that letter correctly, and we celebrate when we tapped out that word for the first time. So it's a great experience, and it's really neat to see all those pieces start to come together. It's a lot of fun.
Mrs. Sandoval, thank you so much for telling us all about phonics. I know as kindergarten, first and second grade teachers, all of us are taking on a lot of learning this year around something that is called the science of reading. So really taking a science-based and an evidence-based approach in teaching reading and applying our knowledge around phonics, around phonemic awareness. So as Mrs. Sandoval explained, playing with those sounds, playing with rhyming words, playing with words that sound the same, playing with words that sound different. And a lot of this is done just through talking. So now I just want to talk to the adults about something. I don't know about you guys, but I have discovered that online game Wordle that is like sweeping the nation. I don't know if any of you have glommed onto this trend, but today I was able to get the word right in just 3 tries. And I think some of that is because of my understanding of phonics and how vowel teams work together, how blends work together. Those skills are really serving me well in my pursuits of Wordle. So if any of you all are playing out there, just know that you can thank your kindergarten teacher for doing such a great job teaching you about blends and vowel teams and letter names and letter sounds. It really can be a lot of fun even as an adult. Mrs. Sandoval, I think you wanted to share with us a little bit more about our specials, what we call our specials here at Corrales. So I'll turn it back over to you so you can talk a little bit about that as well.
I feel like this is everyone's favorite part of school. They like recess, they like lunch, and they love specials. So we have such a great team here at Corrales, which is part of what makes it just so special here. But our PE coach, Coach Dolan, the kids actually get to go to PE 2 times a week, which is super fun. Sometimes they play outside on the field. Coach has a lot of games and activities, and then sometimes they're there in the gym with her. But they're always super excited. Is it PE today? We have an art teacher this year we're really excited about. She's new to our school just recently. So, and art it's just such an important thing for kids. You know, we think of it as like, oh, you know, they're just doodling and drawing pictures, but you know, it's a way to express yourself when you don't always have the words for it. Those self-portraits that Mrs. Tenorio was showing, they're just such an interesting self-expression. Builds a lot of confidence. And like Liv was talking, you know, you've got those midline crossing activities. You're looking at patterns. You're looking at shapes. There's math embedded in there. There's letter formation and fine motor control. So it's a fantastic opportunity to have the art lessons back this year. So they get to go to art once a week. Library is also 1 time per week. They can go, there's read aloud stories. They get to check out books. Sometimes they read them here in the classroom. Sometimes they take them home to share with you guys. But that's always fun. They love checking out new books and visiting with Mrs. Bussey. And then music, they get to go to music once a week as well. And same thing for music, you know, there's so much more going on than we really think about. You know, it's not so much about just the singing or the dancing. It's about the, you know, body control and the beats and the rhythms and counting and patterning things. So it's just, we're really lucky that we have such a comprehensive team and a comprehensive program, and that we have all of these beautiful spaces and facilities and, you know, really talented teachers to bring all this joy to our students. So we love our specials.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Sandoval, for explaining all of the great activities and learning opportunities that our kiddos will have here at Corrales Elementary. I think it's really amazing that we get to offer such a robust fine arts program this year, but I also really love and appreciate our PE teacher and the ways in which she is able to integrate so many different skills into her PE program. Right now, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders are learning how to rollerblade. So each kiddo has a pair of rollerblades that fit them. They're welcome to bring their own helmets, but we provide helmets and padding that is sanitized after each class period. And all the kids are having so much fun learning how to rollerblade. And also, they're going to be learning how to ride bikes very shortly. So I'm just super thrilled that we're able to offer such great opportunities to the kids here in the village, because I know it can be a struggle for some of us to learn how to ride a bike, especially in Corrales, where we don't have any sidewalks. So that can be a little bit of
sidewalks, not a lot of paved roads.
Yeah. So it is really great that we have all of these wonderful opportunities here at Corrales Elementary for our kiddos. Thank you so much, Mrs. Sandoval. I will take you off of the stream, and I'm going to add back Mrs. Mann. Hi, Mrs. Mann. Well, Mrs. Mann is going to talk to us, I think, a little bit about kindergarten readiness skills and all of the things that make kindergarten special.
Yes, we want your kindergartner to be ready for kindergarten when they come in. So let's see. A couple of the things that we talk about a lot in our kindergarten conference is bathroom skills. So we want to make sure that your kindergartner can use the restroom by themselves. Okay. So each classroom has their own restroom, and we want to make sure that they can go in there and use the restroom themselves. Things like buttoning and unbuttoning their own pants. We want to make sure that they can do that themselves. Their zippers need to do that themselves. Pulling pants down and pants up. And also for some kindergartners, if they're wearing a skirt and tights, so putting those tights on themselves, taking them off, putting them back on themselves, those are all skills we want them to make sure that they know how to do. All right. Let's see. As for going outside on the playground, especially when it gets cold, we want to make sure that students know how to put their jackets on, button and zip as well, and also take their jackets off. Okay. When they take jackets off, and this normally happens, and most moms and dads know this, we know our kindergartners and most kids too, they take off their sweatshirts or take off their jackets and the arms are inside out, right? So we want them to be able to learn how to put their arm in that jacket, hold on to the end, and pull it out so that they would know how to put their jackets on themselves. Okay. And their sweatshirts too, how to turn them right side out so they can put them on themselves as well. Let's see. I know a lot of kids like to have tennis shoes or shoes that don't have ties. But if you do send your kiddos with shoes that have shoelaces, practice tying shoes with kiddos. There's a ton of shoelaces that always need to be tied here in kindergarten. It's always nice if someone can help out, for sure.
And I have been known to give kids a shoe tying test. So if you don't want to be caught with a pop quiz on tying your shoes, be sure you practice at home before you come.
She will stop you and give you a test. Okay, so a couple other things that we think about are some fine motor skills here in the classroom. Ms. Tenorio really talked about holding on to those pencils correctly. I'm just going to use one that I have here. We talk about pinch that pencil and let it fall down. Okay, and then bring out this one. So think about that. So if you're trying to help your kindergartner, those grips are great, but if you don't have them, pinch, let it fall down, bring out the other finger for stabilization. It's really good for that. Let's see, cutting. Oh my goodness, we love cutting in kindergarten. And we love our kindergarten scissors, right? We like the ones with the blunt tip on here. The ones with the pointy tip get a little bit dangerous. So when you're helping your kids cut, just give them a whole bunch of scrap paper and let them cut it up. It's really great. We love to have good cutting skills. We want to make sure that they're using their dominant hand, of course, and they're going to turn that hand over, put those fingers in the bottom, and the thumb always goes on top. So we want to also make sure that we got our chicken wing in and that our scissors always point out, okay? And that our scissors stay like this. And they do not move. The only thing that moves is our paper. So our paper moves when we cut, and our hand only moves up and down, but not like this. So we don't want them to have to cut around like this. Get that nice and stable, that chicken wing in, and put their paper there to cut. So lots of cutting. We would love that. Okay, let's see some things outside the classroom, especially for drop off and pickup. We love for the students to be able to know how to buckle and unbuckle themselves from their car seats. That's something that takes a lot of time. So that's something to be working on. I know some of those 5-point harnesses, especially the button in the middle, gets pretty tight. So have them start practicing buckling and unbuckling. We also would love for them to do a lot of play outside. Get those kids outside. On all the playgrounds are opened around Albuquerque. Thank goodness we can all go outside. We love climbing and swinging. A lot of working on that core body strength, because when they come here in the classroom, we want them to be able to sit in their chair. And if they don't have a good core body strength, they like to fall over. Sometimes they like to fall out of their chairs, roll on the floor, that kind of stuff. But make sure that we have good posture in the classroom. And we want to make sure that they're building that stamina to be able to sit in their chairs in the classroom. It's really good. Something else we want them to help and build stamina with, and I know this is a new thing, well, not new to all of us, but 2 years old here, but we do think this is something that's going to be continuing in the classroom, is wearing our mask. And all those little ones might not be too good at wearing masks yet. So build some stamina about wearing a mask for an extended amount of time. We would love for them to be able to try on some different masks at home and find some that you like and that they'll keep on their face. So remember, we want it to be over the mouth and the nose, good fitting masks. So that's a good thing to start thinking about and building stamina. They do get kind of hot at the beginning of the school year. So think about that. Summer is a good time to do that. So they'll have to, just kind of build up that stamina and use those. Okay. Let's see. We love, again, with all fine motor, playing puzzles and playing board games. Do all of those things. We love that for our kindergartners. Okay, now the last thing we're going to talk about is why kindergarten is special. And just listening to all of my colleagues talk, I have learned so many things about them and what they think is special about kindergarten. But one of my favorite things is snack and show and tell. And we love snack and show and tell. So I'm going to move mine, just show you right here is my helper monster and snack calendar. Can you see that? Right there. And all the kids know that their snack calendar comes home at the end of the month, and then it goes up on your refrigerator or wherever you keep those important things for kids to be able to see. They will always have their snack, either if their birthday falls on a weekday, we'll make sure that they have birthday snack on their birthday day, or if their birthday's on a weekend, either before or after, so that they can have a fun birthday snack here at school. We do really like to have prepackaged things, drink and a snack each day would be great. So we would love that too. Some other things that we love choice time. We love playtime here in the classroom. We love for them to be making friends and to enjoy the time with other children. We have been lacking with that in the last 2 years for sure. I know my two have been thinking they need more time with their friends, and they're a lot older. So let's see. We love to see them growing independently. That's one of our really big special things about kindergarten. They're really starting to take on a lot of independence here in the classroom, especially January through May. So we love class parties, and we love field trips too. And we live in such a wonderful area here in Corrales that we can have some walking field trips. We like to go to the fire department, of course, and we love to go over to Corrales Library and Corrales Park. Such good walks on the ditch. I think we're so blessed to be able to do that here in Corrales. And I think maybe two of our most special things is our students and our teachers, and here in Corrales. So we love our students and we love our teachers, and that's really what makes kindergarten special. So we appreciate you all coming.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Mann. I'm going to bring everybody back onto the screen if we all fit. Let's see, here we go. I'll be sure to add the kindergarten presentation that you saw tonight. I know sometimes it's a little bit hard to read on the screen or on YouTube, so I'll be sure to add that onto our Corrales School Loop website. We'll drop some links in there. This presentation, this YouTube broadcast will stay on YouTube, on the Corrales YouTube channel. So if you need to show it to somebody else who wasn't able to attend tonight, if you want to refer back to it, for those phone numbers that we posted, I'll post them again here at the bottom. You're welcome to do so. And please feel free to spread the word amongst your friends and neighbors and acquaintances of how amazing Corrales Elementary is and how wonderful of a place it is for everybody to learn. And we will see you all hopefully very soon. Here is our school number one more time so that you can see that. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.